This is the front of the Port Kembla site of John Lysart Limited, which is now a subsidiary of BHP Steel. This is the Research and Technology Centre where I worked while I was on my placement with BHP. The project came about because of the amounts of waste being produced from the normal cold rolling process. At the moment, the black oxidized steel is pickled to clean it, then sheared to reduce it to width before being rolled. The shearing process creates a lot of waste, about $10 million a year. If an accurate width measuring system could be developed, it will be used to control the cold rolling process much more efficiently, because 1, the right size hot strip could be used instead, or 2, the sheet could be put under tension, which would cause necking to reduce its width. 2 cameras were used to reduce errors due to strip position. The strip while being rolled can move up, down and twist, which if seen by one camera looks as if the width is changing. Triangulation using trigonometry was used to calculate the width. For that to happen, the cameras had to be 1, turned into angle measuring devices, and 2, because there are 2 cameras, there had to be a way to calibrate them so that their edge information could be correlated. First, a hard calibration is to be carried out to turn the cameras into angle measuring devices, and then a soft calibration is to be carried out to determine where each camera is relative to each other.
The system would change dramatically if the strip moved up or down or twisted. Instead, it was decided to turn the cameras into accurate angle measuring devices, which would then calculate the width of the strip at any angle and any height using trigonometry. To turn the cameras into angle measuring devices, a hard calibration has to be carried out. The 11 black stripes or bars are all uniform in size and distance apart. The first step is to define an active window around them all. This is done first by a function called awind, the first function I wrote. Then the window is changed manually because awind still has a few problems. The next few steps are done automatically. The large active window is then broken down into 11 small active windows around each bar. Then each pad, as they are called, which stands for Pixel Array Descriptor, is initialized to find the top, bottom and slope of each bar. The slope is similar to gradient, but it is how many pixels that are stepped along a row before stepping up or down a row. The graphs that can be seen are plots of the intensity profile across each pad. There are 2 graphs because the pad is initialized in 2 halves. The next step is to record the position of the bars to be used in calculations later on. The procedure is then repeated with the camera in an upper position. The crosshair on the screen serves 2 purposes. As can be seen, it is used to realign the calibration piece, and it also guarantees that the bars are at the correct slope. I have found from experiments that the function works better at an optimum slope of 16 pixels a step. The single line up the center of the window is used by a function to adjust the offset and gain of the frame grabber. Now a polynomial which best fits the data is calculated and which will be used to convert a pixel position to an angle. After the angle function has been calculated, the cameras can be used to measure angles, but they still can't measure width, because in order for a 2-camera system to work, they both need to know the distance they are apart and the initial height they are from the strip. This is why a soft calibration has to be carried out.
This is a schematic of what is done during the soft calibration.
The soft calibration could be carried out by hand, but it is much faster done automatically. A calibration piece with 3 bars is placed in the field of view of both cameras, and as with the hard calibration, awind places an active window around the 3 bars. Then the window is adjusted manually. The bars are initialized and the position of the bars is converted to 2 angles, alpha and beta. The distance between the 3 bars is uniform, and the height and the distance that the camera as from the center can be calculated. The same procedure is repeated for both cameras. When the camera positions have been calculated, then it's a straightforward step to measure the width of the strip. The cameras are placed above the strip and 2 active windows per camera are placed over the strip edges. The active windows are then initialized and the initial position of the edges found, and the X and Y ref and the slope are also calculated. Then the strip width is calculated continuously until a key is pressed. The edge tracking algorithm is very robust and works well, even though the strip may move a great deal, as can be shown by my hands moving here. I've written a few tools to help with the setting up of the cameras for SWM. First there is VidKey, which is a tool for printing text on the monitor screen, and is used extensively throughout. The graph functions that you've seen are mainly there for debugging. The function on screen now is called position and helps the operator to position the cameras or the test piece properly. It uses video keying so that text and images can be seen at the same time. You can also see which camera is in use at any time. The next function is set slope, and it helps the operator to change the position of the camera or the test piece to get the required slope. There is also a way of changing the size of the active window or moving it to another part of the screen. I have also written another debugging tool which plots the graph of any one of the 2 cameras' polynomial approximations. This is the pilot line where I tested this strip width measurement system. Has been seen that the strip is 250 millimeters wide and the camera is 1.5 meters above the strip. The camera measuring is fairly accurate to be 0.1 millimeters per. Here are 2 of the hardware projects I worked on for other people. First is a stepper motor controller for Pluto, and the second is a stepper motor controller for surface inspection for